Going to go it alone?
I think they are, Dana. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. It looks like a purely partisan path indeed. And history was made when, as you mentioned, Vice President Kamala Harris casting the tiebreaker, advancing this nearly $2 trillion relief plan.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the concurrent resolution as amended is adopted.
This after 15 hours of vote-a-rama, that time-honored tradition where the minority party, in this case Republicans, forces the majority to endure endless amendments, putting everyone on record. Now, any senator could offer an amendment. More than 850 were filed. In the end, 41 roll call votes were taken. Among the ones that passed, Joni Ernst to prohibit increasing the minimum wage during the pandemic. Another, blocking illegal immigrants from getting stimulus checks, as well as one keeping the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem. Only one amendment got unanimous consent, 100-0 police. Now, not all were adopted. The Democrats shot down Tom Cotton's amendment against packing the Supreme Court, and they killed another that opposes stimulus checks for prisoners, as well as one effectively reinstating border wall construction. So, Dana, what happens now? Well, this is just the first step because it created the vehicle, if you will, the budget resolution that puts the Democrats' package on the path to passing through reconciliation.
Handing off to the blocks tank. We are beginning to flip to horizontal. And the white cloud, the plume you were seeing.
President Biden says he will seek to raise the annual refugee cap to 125,000 in his first year in office, up from 15,000 set by the Trump administration. Meantime, on the U.S.-Mexico border, some facilities are at capacity tonight due to a steady increase in border encounters since April 2020 and also COVID restrictions. Some migrants are now being provided a notice to appear and released into the U.S. to await a hearing, what critics call catch and release. National correspondent William Lajeunesse has specifics tonight from Los Angeles. William?
Well, Brett, Customs and Border Protection says because of that steady increase in apprehensions, Mexico's reluctance to accept more deported families and COVID restrictions here, some facilities are at maximum safe capacity. Therefore, it says, per long-standing practice, when long-term solutions are not possible, some migrants will be processed for removal, provided a notice to appear, and released into the U.S. to await a future immigration hearing. Now, this is needed, they say, to avoid keeping migrants beyond what court orders allow. So right now, the Border Patrol is stopping some 3,500 migrants per day trying to enter the U.S. Former DHS Director Chad Wolf calls it a perfect storm, likely to get worse as smugglers and families exploit the situation.
It's a significant development that they're not taking certain family units back under Title 42. That's very concerning because if you're just doing that in one or two sectors, it's likely going to manifest itself across that border in the very near future.
So right now, this catch and release is only happening in parts of Texas with some families with kids under 12, but especially in sectors with large increases in unaccompanied children apprehensions, like Big Bend, up 98%, 55% in the Rio Grande Valley, which apprehended roughly 7,000 children in just the last 4 months, forcing the administration to add beds in Donna, Texas, and Carrizo Springs, which last saw large numbers in 2019. As for those released, the new DHS director says all migrants will be treated fairly.
Those who qualify under those laws are entitled to the relief that we extend. Those who do not will not be able to remain in our country.
The United Nations highest court will hear a case brought by Iran against the United States over sanctions imposed by the Trump administration. And in last year's hearings, lawyers for the U.S. requested judges at the International Court of Justice to drop the case. But the court on Wednesday said it did have the jurisdiction to hear the case. And Iran took the U.S. to court in 2018 after then-President Donald Trump said he was pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal and would reimpose sanctions on Iran. And the U.S. State Department on Wednesday said it was disappointed by the court's decision. A final ruling from the court may take years.
Taiwan launched fighters to intercept 19 Chinese aircraft. The Taiwan Air Force dispatches fighter jets and deploys anti-aircraft missile systems to monitor the performance of Chinese aircraft over the median line of the strait. Taiwan said yesterday it had urgently dispatched fighters to the Chinese Air Force's approach for the second day in a row, increasing tensions amid U.S. officials visiting the separatist island. According to Reuters, the Taiwanese Defense Agency said 19 Chinese aircraft were in operation. Some jets crossed a sensitive line in the Taiwan Strait, while others entered the Air Defense Identification (ADIZ) area on the southwestern side of the island. According to Taiwan's statement, China has mobilized 12 J-16 fighters, 2 J-10S, 2 J-11S, 2 H-6 bombers, and 1 Y-8 anti-submarine aircraft. ASW. The map provided by Taipei shows no aircraft approaching or flying over the island. The statement also said that the Taiwan Air Force immediately dispatched fighter jets and deployed an anti-aircraft missile system to monitor activities. After detecting that Chinese aircraft were encroaching on the territory, Taiwan mobilized interceptors to evict the Chinese aircraft. After a while chasing the Chinese aircraft fled Taiwan territory. China announced that its eastern region had begun the exercise in the Taiwan Strait, the sea separating the Chinese island from the mainland. This activity took place at the same time that U.S. Deputy Foreign Secretary Keith Kroc was visiting Taipei. After the incident, the Taiwanese leader praised the pilot for blocking the Chinese plane. Taiwanese leader Tian Van said the island's pilots had acted heroically by intercepting the oncoming Chinese fighters. During her visit to Penghu's air defense base in the Taiwan Strait today, Ms. Tai told the pilots and engineers that she knew their heroic performance when she stopped the engine. The Chinese military's flight was overwhelming. I have great confidence in everyone. As a soldier, how can we let the enemy stalk our airspace, Ms. Tai said, adding that the frontline mission in Penghu was getting heavier when mainland China intensifies provocative and destructive actions of regional peace.